For nearly 500 years, one name has haunted history: Nostradamus. A man whose cryptic writings have been linked to wars, plagues, assassinations, and global upheavals often centuries after his death. Some call him a prophet, others, a clever poet. But what happens when his predictions appear to align with real historical events? Today, we examine the prophecies of Nostradamus that many believe actually came true. Michel de Nostradamus, better known as Nostradamus, was born in 1503 in France. He was a physician, an astrologer, and a scholar during a time when knowledge could be dangerous. To avoid persecution from the Inquisition, Nostradamus wrote his predictions in quatrains, 4-line verses filled with symbols, metaphors, and coded language that made them incredibly difficult to understand directly. In 1555, he published his masterpiece, a book called Les Prophéties, or the Prophecies. And ever since that moment, for almost half a millennium, the world has been trying to decode them. The question is, did he truly see the future, or was he just a master of vague language? Let's find out. Let us start with one of Nostradamus' most famous and eerily specific predictions: the death of a king during a jousting tournament. In one of his quatrains, he wrote, "The young lion will overcome the older one on the field of combat in a single battle. He will pierce his eyes through a golden cage, 2 wounds made 1, then he dies a cruel death." Now, fast forward to the summer of 1559. King Henry II of France was celebrating a peace treaty with a massive 3-day jousting festival. On the final day, the king, who was the older one, decided to compete against a much younger nobleman, the Comte de Montgomery, the young lion. During their final pass, Montgomery's lance shattered. A large splinter flew through the king's golden helmet, his golden cage, and pierced him through the eye, entering his brain. The wound was horrific. After 10 days of agony, King Henry II died a cruel death. The details were so chillingly similar to the prophecy that even the most hardened skeptics find this one difficult to dismiss. Did Nostradamus see this tragic event for years before it happened? Or was it just a horrifying coincidence? Next, we travel to England for a catastrophe that reshaped one of the world's greatest cities. Nostradamus wrote, "The blood of the just will be demanded of London, burnt through lightning of 23's the 6th. The ancient lady will fall from her high place, several of the same sect will be killed." In 1666, the Great Fire of London erupted. The fire started in a small bakery and raged for 4 days, destroying over 13,000 homes and 87 churches, including the iconic St. Paul's Cathedral. The reference to 23's the 6th is often interpreted as 20 times 3, which is 60, plus 6, giving you 66, the year the fire happened. 1666. The blood of the just could refer to the countless ordinary citizens who lost everything, even if the official death toll was surprisingly low. The ancient lady falling from her high place is often seen as a metaphor for London itself, or its great cathedral, crumbling under the flames. Was Nostradamus truly warning of a disaster that would strike a century later? Or was he simply observing the repeating cycles of history, knowing that great cities are always vulnerable to fire and destruction? Now let's look at one of the most powerful figures in European history, Napoleon Bonaparte. One quatrain mentions an emperor who will be born near Italy, and whose name is an anagram. The prophecy reads, "Pau ne Lauron, more of fire than of the blood." Many researchers believe that Pau ne Lauron is a clever anagram for Napoleon Roy, or Napoleon the King. Napoleon was born on the island of Corsica, very near Italy, and rose from humble beginnings to become one of the most feared and powerful leaders the world has ever seen. The line "more of fire than of the blood" is interpreted as describing his non-royal lineage. He sees power through military genius and ambition, fire not through noble birthright or blood. He conquered nations, redrew the map of Europe, and brought both incredible glory and immense destruction to France. Napoleon's rise from obscurity to emperor shocked the entire continent, just as Nostradamus seemed to predict hundreds of years earlier. The connections are undeniably fascinating. Perhaps the most chilling and controversial prophecy of all involves a figure Nostradamus called Hister. He wrote, Beasts ferocious with hunger will cross the rivers. The greater part of the battlefield will be against Hitler. Into a cage of iron will the Great One be drawn. When the child of Germany observes no law, the name Hister is an ancient Latin name for the Danube River, a river that flows near the birthplace of Adolf Hitler. Many believe this verse points directly to Hitler and the horrors of World War II. The prophecy speaks of a brutal leader, born near the Danube, who brings unimaginable war and terror to Europe. The beasts ferocious with hunger could represent the German armies sweeping across the continent. The cage of iron is often seen as a reference to the bunker where Hitler ultimately met his end. While this interpretation is heavily debated, the parallels between the prophecy and the rise of the Third Reich are deeply unsettling, leaving us to wonder if Nostradamus saw the darkest chapter of the 20th century. Let's return to Nostradamus' home country, France, for a revolution that would change the world forever. More than 200 years before it happened, Nostradamus wrote of great upheaval. His verses warned of songs, chants, and demands will come from the enslaved, held captive by the nobility in their prisons. At a later date, headless idiots will take these as divine utterances. This seems to describe the French Revolution with stunning accuracy. The enslaved were the common people, rising up against the monarchy and the aristocracy. Their songs and chants, like the Marseillaise, became anthems of rebellion. The revolution led to widespread bloodshed, the fall of the French royalty, and the execution of the king and queen by guillotine, literally becoming headless. Power shifted dramatically from the elite to the masses. Institutions that had stood for centuries collapsed, and Europe was changed forever. It was an event that perfectly matched Nostradamus' warnings of uprising, chaos, and a complete reversal of the social order. So, what about our time? Did Nostradamus see our future? Many modern interpreters believe his cryptic verses also predict events in our own era. They point to quatrains that seem to describe aerial combat, global terrorism, devastating climate disasters like floods and droughts, and widespread political unrest. But here is the truth we need to consider. Nostradamus may not have seen specific events with crystal clarity. Instead, he may have understood the fundamental patterns of human nature and history. He understood that human behavior repeats. Power rises, and then it inevitably falls. Civilizations are built, and eventually, they collapse. He wrote in such a vague and symbolic way that it allowed, and even encouraged, future generations to see themselves and their own times reflected in his words. His prophecies act like a mirror, showing us the recurring themes of human conflict, ambition, and tragedy. So, did Nostradamus truly predict the future? Or did he simply understand the timeless rhythm of history better than anyone else? Was he a seer, or a brilliant psychologist and poet who knew that humanity's story is a cyclical one? Perhaps the real prophecy isn't about specific events like fires, wars, or the deaths of kings. Perhaps the real prophecy is about us. It's a commentary on the human condition itself. Because as long as humanity continues to be driven by greed, ambition, and fear, as long as we keep repeating the same mistakes over and over again, the prophecies of Nostradamus will always seem to come true. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more journeys into history's greatest mysteries.